Olivia's hand shook, the plastic stick trembling as she stared at the twin pink lines. Joy and something else flickered across her face. A shadow of fear, maybe. I didn't catch it then. "Ethan," she breathed, wrapping her arms around me. "We're pregnant." I hugged her back, but a chill snaked down my spine. 3 years married. We were meticulous. Protection every single time, no exceptions. We'd agreed, waited. "How?" I asked, voice flat, still processing. "We always use protection." Her smile wavered just a flicker. "Maybe one broke. Who cares? We're having a baby." She kissed me, her excitement a tidal wave against my rising unease. I tried to match her energy, but a knot of doubt tightened in my stomach. Something didn't add up. Days blurred into weeks, and the feeling wouldn't shake. Olivia had been different for months. Late nights at the office in Midtown, suddenly obsessed with yoga classes at some trendy studio downtown. Password changes on her phone, out of the blue. She was always independent, but this felt different. I pushed it down, didn't want to be that guy, the paranoid husband. Then came the text. Olivia was in the shower, steam clouding the bathroom mirror. Her phone buzzed on the coffee table. I'm not a snooper. Never have been, but the preview flashed across the screen. "Mike, can't wait to see you tomorrow. Last time was..." The rest was cut off, but my blood ran cold. Mike. The name pricked at my memory. Her new project manager. Mentioned him a few times, always casual, always work-related. But this text, this felt wrong. Shower shut off. I backed away from her phone like it was a hot stove. That night, Olivia slept soundly beside me, breathing evenly. I lay awake, mind racing. The timing of the pregnancy, the text, her recent behavior, separate pieces clicking into a disturbing picture I didn't want to see. Next morning, I called in sick to work, said I had a migraine. Instead of heading home, I drove downtown, parked across the street from Olivia's office building. Guilt gnawed at me, spying on my wife, but the alternative, living in the fog of uncertainty, felt worse. 2:15 p.m. Olivia walked out of the building, not towards the parking garage, but down the street, 2 blocks to a little cafe I vaguely recognized in the West Village. A tall guy in a sharp suit was waiting outside. Mike. He stepped forward, greeted her with a familiarity that twisted my gut. His hand lingered on her lower back as they went inside. I waited 20 minutes, stomach churning before following. The cafe was small, crowded. Barista pointed upstairs. "Couple matching your description, private room, balcony." My hands went clammy. Each step up the narrow stairs was a hammer blow against my chest, bringing me closer to a truth I was dreading. Glass door at the top, leading to a small balcony overlooking the street. And there they were. Olivia pressed against the railing, Mike's hands on her waist, their mouths locked. My world tilted. I froze, breath caught in my throat, watching the woman I loved, my pregnant wife, betray me. A sound escaped me, a choked gasp, maybe. Olivia's head snapped up, eyes meeting mine through the glass, her face drained of color. "Ethan," she whispered, pushing Mike away, straightening her blouse. "This isn't. I can explain." But I was already moving, turning, stumbling back down the stairs, vision blurring. Olivia's heels clicked behind me, fast and sharp on the wooden steps. "Ethan, please," she begged, grabbing my arm outside. The afternoon sun felt brutal, mocking the darkness that had just swallowed my life. "It's not what you think. Mike and I, it was just a mistake. One time." I turned, voice surprisingly steady. "One time? Is that why you're carrying his child?" Her face crumpled. "What? No! The baby is yours, Ethan, I swear. We always use protection." "Olivia, every single time. You really think I'm that stupid?" Mike appeared behind her, looking like he wanted to disappear. "Olivia, maybe I should—" "Stay out of this," I snapped, glaring at him, then back at her. "How long, Olivia?" Her eyes darted between Mike and me. "Ethan, please, can we talk about this at home? Not here." Tears streamed down her face now. "Months," she whispered. "But it didn't mean anything. I love you, Ethan. You're my husband. Mike was just... I was confused and work was crazy stressful." "Save it." I held up a hand. "Months. Right around when you got that promotion." The promotion she'd been so thrilled about. The one that came with late meetings, weekend work sessions. Everything clicked into place. "Things don't just happen, Olivia. You made choices. Every secret meeting, every lie about working late, every time you came home and kissed me after being with him, those were all choices." Mike stepped forward, trying for calm. "Look, Ethan, I know this is a shock." I cut him off with a bitter laugh. "A shock? Finding out my wife is pregnant with her boss's baby when we've been having protected sex our entire marriage? Yeah, I'd say that's a bit of a shock." Olivia's mascara was running, her carefully constructed facade dissolving. "Please, Ethan, I'll do anything. We can work through this. I'll quit my job, cut off all contact with Mike. Please don't throw away our marriage." I looked at her, really looked at her, and saw a stranger. The woman I'd married, the one I'd trusted completely, had never existed. This person in front of me was someone else entirely. A liar, a cheater, capable of months of calculated deception. "Our marriage?" I said quietly. "You threw that away the first time you decided to sleep with him. You just didn't bother to tell me." I walked away. Olivia called after me, voice breaking. "Where are you going, Ethan? Please, we need to talk." I didn't turn back. "I have some calls to make, starting with our lawyer." The next few days were a blur of icy rage and meticulous planning. I crashed at my brother Josh's place in Brooklyn, ignoring Olivia's constant calls and texts. She cycled through desperate apologies, angry accusations that I was overreacting, and tearful pleas about the baby. Each message just fueled my resolve. "You gotta hear her out, man," Josh said one evening, watching me hunched over my laptop, documenting every suspicious date and incident from the past 4 months. "Just to figure out the divorce stuff." I looked up. "Oh, I'll hear her out. But on my terms, not hers." Olivia had always underestimated me, mistook my trusting nature for naivete, my patience for weakness. Even now, she probably thought I'd eventually calm down, listen to her excuses, forgive. She didn't know that while she was leaving voicemails begging for forgiveness, I was methodically dismantling the life we'd built together. The final step was the hardest. I drove out to Long Island, to Olivia's parents' house, the same house where I'd asked for their blessing before proposing. Mary, Olivia's mother, opened the door, warm smile fading as she saw my face. "Ethan, what's wrong? Olivia's been calling, but she won't say what's happening." I told them everything. They deserved to know why their daughter's marriage was imploding. Mary cried. Her father, George, stoic and silent, just nodded. "We didn't raise her to be this person," Mary whispered when I finished. "No," I agreed, "but it's who she chose to be." As I was leaving, George stopped me. "Whatever you're planning," he said quietly, face grim. She earned it. Her own parents' support should have felt like a victory. Instead, it just underscored the depth of her betrayal. Back at Josh's, an email notification popped up. Jessica, Mike's wife. Yeah, he was married too. Something Olivia had conveniently left out. I'd found Jessica's contact info online, sent her a detailed account of everything I knew. Her response was brief. "Can we meet? There's more you should know." We met at a diner in the village the next morning. Jessica was petite, tired eyes, but a steel core. She slid a stack of papers across the table. "Mike's done this before," she said, no preamble. 2 years ago, another employee got pregnant. Company paid her off, shipped her to London. My grip tightened on my coffee cup. "And you stayed?" "We have kids," she said simply. "But I've been gathering evidence ever since. Bank statements, hotel receipts, emails, waiting for the right moment. Your wife's pregnancy just moved up my timeline." I flipped through the documents, mind racing. "Does Mike know you have all this?" Jessica smiled, grim. "Not yet, but he will." She leaned forward. "Question is, do we coordinate, or handle our spouses separately?" I thought for a beat. "We can help each other. I have a plan. Works better with your involvement." "I'm listening." I saw the same cold determination in Jessica's eyes that was burning in my own heart. Olivia and Mike had played their game, thinking they were the clever ones. They were about to learn how wrong they were. After a week of silence, I finally agreed to meet Olivia at our apartment. Walking in felt surreal. Everything the same, yet utterly different. Olivia sat at the kitchen table, hands wrapped around a cold mug, looking smaller, almost fragile. "You've lost weight," she said softly as I sat down. "Are you eating? Don't pretend you care about my well-being." My voice was flat, controlled. "I'm here for practicalities." Her face crumpled. "Of course I care, Ethan. I know I screwed up terribly, but I love you. We can get through this. Counseling, rebuild trust, build." "Like you rebuilt trust with Mike's wife?" Olivia's face went white. "What?" "Jessica sends her regards." I pulled up my phone, played a recording. Mike's voice, agitated, arguing with Olivia. Jessica had recorded it during one of their recent discussions. "You've been talking to Jessica?" Olivia's voice trembled. "Ethan, whatever she told you." "She told me everything, Olivia. Mike's pattern of seducing employees. The last pregnant mistress shipped off to London. Tell me, Olivia, was that your backup plan too? A transfer if things went south?" Tears streamed down her cheeks. "It wasn't like that. Mike told me he and Jessica were separated, getting divorced. I didn't know." "You didn't want to know," I corrected. "Just like you didn't want to know how this would destroy me when I found out." I slid a manila envelope across the table. "Here's what's going to happen now. Divorce papers." Olivia's hands shook as she opened the envelope. You can't just throw away 3 years of marriage. You did that already. I'm just making it official, and... I tapped the paper. Sign here, acknowledging I'm not the father of your child. What about Mike? She asked, a flicker of defiance returning. Are you planning some kind of revenge? I smiled, and something in my expression made her recoil. Mike's situation is handling itself. Jessica's quite thorough. Been documenting his workplace relationships for years. Company board received quite an interesting package of evidence this morning. Olivia's eyes widened. What did you do? Me? Nothing. But turns out companies don't love executives who make a habit of impregnating subordinates, especially when those subordinates file complaints about coercion, professional retaliation. That's a lie, Olivia burst out. Mike never threatened me. Then you'll have no problem stating that under oath when company lawyers investigate. I'm sure they'll be fascinated by your perspective on workplace power dynamics, consensual relationships. Color drained from her face. Her career, her reputation, the image she'd carefully crafted, balanced on a knife's edge. You wouldn't? She whispered. You're right. I wouldn't have to. The wheels are already turning, Olivia. All you decide now is how much collateral damage you're willing to take. I stood up, leaving the divorce papers on the table. 24 hours to sign. After that, things get considerably more complicated for everyone. As I reached the door, Olivia called out, voice breaking. I never meant to hurt you, Ethan. You have to believe that. I paused, hand on the doorknob. The problem, Olivia, is that I don't believe anything you say anymore. But don't worry. Soon you won't have to lie to me ever again. The company board's emergency meeting lasted 3 hours. Jessica texted updates from the parking lot, lawyer by her side. When Mike finally emerged, security escorting him, cardboard box in hand, his face was a mask of devastation. Olivia signed the divorce papers that evening. Not because of my deadline, but because Mike had already thrown her under the bus. Jessica forwarded me his desperate email to the board, claiming Olivia had pursued him, manipulated him, threatened harassment claims if he ended things. He'd even attached carefully curated texts to support his victim narrative. Classic Mike, Jessica commented when we met for coffee, claiming victim instead of supervisor, abusing his position. I watched Olivia's carefully constructed world unravel with a detachment that surprised me. Her resignation was requested by HR the next morning. The company legal team was thorough, presenting her with a non-disclosure agreement and a modest severance, less than Mike's previous mistress had received. No chances this time, not with Jessica's evidence of corporate cover-ups. Olivia's parents refused to let her move back home. Actions have consequences, George had said. Mary told me later they'd offered therapy instead. She needs to understand why she does these things. This isn't the daughter we raised. The final blow came from Olivia's sister, Emily, her closest confidant, who publicly severed ties in a scathing social media post about betrayal and family values. It went viral in their circle, forcing Olivia to shut down all her accounts. Mike fared no better. Jessica's divorce filing included evidence of his affairs, misuse of company resources, financial mismanagement. His industry reputation was ruined. Last I heard, he was considering moving out of state. 3 months later, I ran into Olivia outside a doctor's office in the village. Her pregnancy was showing now, a stark reminder of the lies that had shattered everything. Ethan, she said, stopping awkwardly. I wanted to reach out. Don't. My voice was quiet, firm. Please, just let me say this. Her eyes were clear, no manipulation this time. You were right. About everything. I'm seeing a therapist, trying to understand why I did what I did. I know it doesn't change anything, but I am truly sorry. Not just for the affair, but for who I became. Who I was all along, maybe. I studied her face, once more familiar than my own. You know the worst part, Olivia? Not the affair. Not even the baby. It was realizing that every morning for months you woke up next to me, looked me in the eye, and chose to lie. Over and over. That kind of betrayal. It doesn't just break trust. It breaks the foundation of everything we thought we were. She wiped a tear. I know I destroyed something precious. I have to live with that. I hope someday you can forgive me, not for my sake, for yours. You deserve peace. I have peace, I replied. The moment I stopped trying to understand why and just accepted that you did, I found my peace. I don't hate you anymore, Olivia. I don't feel anything for you at all. I walked into the coffee shop, ordered my latte, didn't look back. Sometimes the best revenge isn't about causing pain. It's about walking away, letting people face the natural consequences of their choices. Olivia and Mike had built their affair on lies. All I had to do was step back and watch it burn. My phone buzzed. Real estate agent. New house listing in Chicago. Fresh start. No memories of betrayal on every corner. Driving to see the place, I felt lighter than I had in months. Olivia had taught me a harsh lesson about trust and consequences. Not the lesson she intended, but one I'd never forget.